When bartender Ashwin is on her shift, tankards and glasses are always kept filled at the Mystic Nest. Ashwin has always been intrigued by brewing and concocting new drinks ever since her family bought the tavern, and her mother taught her the basics. But when she discovered that she could also incorporate magic into her drinks, it opened up an entirely new world for her. Jade, her faithful companion her father invented, helps her meticulously make the perfect measurements for every drink. She still puts her time in for the family-owned business, and loves to greet regulars with their favorite creations. But now, she wants to take her creations on the road, and try to help others and tell stories through the drinks that she makes. Hey, my name is Jade, and I like to paint with pixels. And for today's video, we are going to be designing another fantasy character to add to my Artfight profile. I already had some aspects of the character that I knew that I wanted, such as making her some sort of artificer. But I thought it would be fun to roll some of the other aspects using dice. So today, we're doing 4 rolls. 1 for the species she'll be, 1 for the specialty that this artificer will have, and 2 rolls to determine her overall color scheme. Here are the dice that we're rolling today. So for species, we got a 2, which is an elf. For her specialty, we got a 3, which is an alchemist. And for the colors, we got 8, which is teal, and 3, which is grey. Let's get to sketching. I actually started sketching this character out using Procreate, which is not something that I normally do, but I thought it would be useful for quickly jotting down ideas and not worrying too much about the individual pixel placement, which is something that I'm guilty of getting stuck with in the sketching stage. I mainly wanted to figure out hairstyles and also a general color scheme for the hair, using the 2 colors that we rolled for. I didn't want to go fully teal with her hair, but I thought that having little highlights of teal dotted throughout would contrast really well with the overall silver hair. I thought that it would give a unique look that reflects her more outgoing personality, and I really like how it works with both the space buns and the braid. In the end, I decided to go for the space buns, as they felt the most like an artificer who's very practical about her work and wants to keep her hair out the way. I sort of came up with the general layout for this character sheet and used my character sheet for Hetty as sort of inspiration. So we're going for a close-up portrait on the left, a full body pose to show the whole outfit on the right, and then in between we'll highlight some cool accessories, because I really like doing that with the magical bottle that was on Hetty's character sheet. For drawing the character sheet, as usual, I'll be using Picsquare on the iPad. I started with the bigger portrait in the bottom left, though I had a lot of trouble with picking out skin tones. I think this is something that I just need to practice more in general, because we did not go for the original color that we picked in the sketch. I wanted to go for more of a paler, cool undertone to her skin, to sort of match the cooler overall color scheme that she has as well. I haven't done a lot of portraits with straighter hair textures and updos as well. I feel like they're quite tricky to get the placement right, and this is good practice for that. Especially with trying to figure out how much detail and depth I want to go with the hair as well. To stick with the color scheme, I tried to make sure that her accessories were mainly silver rather than gold. I really wanted to have goggles as one of the accessories she has, because I feel like that's something that you see a lot with artificers, but also I really like the vibe of them as well, and it fits how she would use them as well, because she's probably messing with a bunch of ingredients that might be a little dangerous to mix together, so, you know, safety first. But I couldn't quite get them to work with the overall hairstyle that I chose. I did like how the dark grey headband contrasted with the hair, but it felt like I was competing with the space buns since they're very similar shapes on top of her head, so I opted with just getting rid of them for now. Maybe they can be something that's still in her kit, because I still really like the vibe that goggles have for like an artificer tinkering away at their creations. Next, I started to work on her overall outfit and pose. I really wanted to lean into the sort of bartending elements of her backstory, so the pose is her serving up one of her favorite drinks. And the overall outfit is heavily inspired by the classic bartender with a waistcoat sort of look. I still wanted to try and keep it in the fantasy element with the laced up high boots and the corset details on the top. I knew that I wanted her to have some sort of tool belt where she kept all of her kit for making drinks, And I really like the idea of her spellcasting focus to be the cocktail shaker that she uses. So we knew we had to include that in the belt. In the last character sheet we made, I found a really cool reference for these belt loops that attach your accessories onto the main belt, so I thought I would reuse that idea here as well. I feel like every artificer has a little robot companion, a little guy to keep them company, so we designed that with Jig next. Jig is inspired by the bartending kit called a jigger, which is used for measuring out different amounts of liquids. I thought that if you stacked two of them together and added sort of like a hinge, you could have this little talking face, which I thought was just really silly but also really fun. It sort of reminds me of the characters in Repo where they talk and they just sort of tilt half of their head to talk. So I sort of wanted to go with that vibe for this little character. My friend also suggested that he needed a little mustache, and this was the best suggestion to add. I mean, look at him. This little guy. Ready to make drinks. It felt like the perfect companion for someone who makes a lot of drinks and potions. This is all really new to me, because personally I don't drink, but it was really interesting to learn more about how to make drinks. Though I love a good mocktail, can't go wrong with those. For the other mini illustration, I thought it would be perfect to add a bit more detail to her cocktail shaker, which is also her spellcasting focus. I've always seen shakers like this made entirely of metal, but when I was looking for references, I found some that are partly made of glass, which I thought was really interesting, and could be really cool to see the elements of either the drinks that she's making or the spells that she's casting sort of conjure up within the glass. So I thought this would be a really cool detail to add. Maybe it could be some sort of heirloom passed down in the family. That could be really fun. With a couple of adjustments, here is the final result. I really like this character design. I really wanted to make a character that doesn't have a tragic backstory. Like, her family's good, business is good, just wants to go out on an adventure, and I feel like she looks like she would want to do that. I also like that some of her personality is sort of embedded in the character sheet itself, with all the messy imprints of flasks and cups that have been sort of dotted around. I can't get over Jig though. He's such a little fella. Oh, I'm really happy with Jig. Before Ashwin, I only had the character that you see here and Hetty as my potential characters to attack in Art Fight. So I'm glad I could add a third one to the roster. Now I've got to make some attacks of my own, but if you would like to attack one of my characters, there will be a link for my Art Fight profile in the description. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're curious about my witchy character Hetty, check out this video here where we go through the full design process of creating the visuals for her. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care out there. Goodbye!